What's going on, everybody? I am back with a new episode of the Conscious Approach podcast. My name is JV Wins, and shout out to my buddy Cashmere Bro for sending this piece of content my way. NFL quarterback Robert Griffin III. I'm actually not sure what his current status is, but let's just say for the sake of this video that he is still an active professional football player, albeit he's not on a roster at the moment. But NFL quarterback Robert Griffin III went viral on social media because of a social media post that was attributed to him. Now, things are a little fuzzy. It's a little weird. It was a bit of a weird post. Robert Griffin III strikes me as one of those guys who is a bit socially awkward, but he's trying to learn how to navigate the treacherous waters of social media. And so as he's trying to figure out how to best exist within the social media ecosystem, some of his more, laid back, introverted aspects of his personality come out to the forefront and manifest themselves in awkward ways with some of his posts. But initially, he posted a video on social media of his girl. Well, it was him and his wife. He was working out, but it was also showing off his wife who was working out. It was a pretty innocuous post. It was just him sort of being proud of his wife. Now that didn't get much pushback, but somebody in the comments of that post commented at him by saying, "Come on, bro, your wife is white." So Robert Griffin III, in a very weird way, took that comment and reposted the post with another video of him checking his wife working out. And the caption of the post said, "Come on, bro, your wife is white." So it ended up getting read. It ended up getting received from people as him sort of bigging up his white wife. And we all know this ongoing conversation about Black men dating out, specifically with white females. In the social discourse amongst Black people. A lot of Black people don't like it. And so it sort of re-sparked this ongoing debate about the merit of Black men dating out, specifically dating, white women, and why it's so terrible. And, it's just kind of interesting because I just don't understand why we're still having this discussion. But I wanted to speak on it because me being the consummate pragmatist that I am, I'm always, wanting to talk about, okay, well, if you perceive this to be such a problem, let's talk about what the potential solutions to this problem are instead of spending so much time lamenting the state of affairs and talking about how much of a problem it is and complaining about how much of a problem it is. So, first of all, it was just interesting to me that a repurposed social media post that wasn't even intended to be sort of a statement of, the value of interracial relationships ended up becoming this firestorm of a debate in the comments section about, once again, Black men dating non-Black women and why that's such a problem in society. Like, we're still having this conversation. So, I just want to kind of spend a little bit of time on this video, specifically talking to my people, Black people, because we really got to put a nail in this coffin and move on to bigger and better things, because this is just getting kind of old. Like, Black women, let's talk pragmatism, right? Let's talk practical solutions. If you perceive desirable Black men who you would like to give you attention, if you perceive those Black men giving their attention to non-Black women as such a problem, perhaps instead of complaining about the fact that they are doing this, maybe you should spend time listening to what Black men want and trying as best you can to provide that. I promise you that if you do that, some of your fortunes will change. Like, listen to what they have to say. Like, just try that. Just try it. Just try it and see what happens. Try and see what happens when, instead of complaining about their nature, you listen to what Black men have to say when they talk about these are some of the desirable traits that I seek in a partner. Listen to that and try to provide that as a black woman. I promise you some of your fortunes will reverse. But I feel like, a lot of you, I don't want to generalize, so I won't say all women, but there's a lot of you women out here who spend inordinate amounts of time complaining about the fact that black men choose to date out instead of listening to what they have to say and trying as best you can to capitulate. Like, for example, if black men say that they want a woman who is submissive, stop taking that as an affront to your individuality and your womanhood and perceiving that as a threat to your feminist ways, and just accept that within the context of that relationship, there are clearly defined roles. Because in the context of any successful, non dysfunctional relationship, there are clearly defined roles. And within the context of your hopeful relationship, one of those defined roles for you might be taking a submissive position. That doesn't mean that you don't have a say so. That doesn't mean that you are stripped of your individuality or your womanhood. It just means that you provide valuable input when it comes to certain major decisions and aspects of the relationship that require a direction. You have input and you provide what it is that you provide that is of value. But if it comes down to a final decision, that man might have the final say so in terms of what ends up being the final yield with respect to that particular position. That means that you're taking the more submissive role within the context of the relationship. But that doesn't mean that you're being controlled, manipulated, or manhandled. It just means that within the context of that relationship, you assume that clearly defined role. We all have clearly defined roles in our relationships, and it matters that we have a willingness to abide by those clearly defined roles, because all successful relationships involve both people in the relationship having clearly defined roles. So stop taking it as a threat to your individuality when a black man says, I want a woman to be submissive. But see, we get caught up on these semantics. And when you hear the word submissive, it triggers you. It's like something gets set off in your brain, and all of a sudden that deep latent psychosis that has been sort of given to you by your man-hating mother and your man-hating friends and all of that feminist literature that you've allowed to brainwash you into thinking that a submissive woman is automatically tantamount to you being controlled by a man and you being stripped of your individuality, when that's not actually what being submissive within the context of a romantic relationship means. So, like, you need to kind of sort of get off that high horse a little bit. Like, try to reprogram your brain to get out of that mindset of all of that feminist literature and your man-hating mother that's brainwashed you into making it seem as though being submissive is somehow a threat to who you are as a person and as an individual. We all have to accept defined roles. Like, if you want a black man to accord you the same attention that he accords to non-black women, listen to him when he tells you what he wants. And if, for example, he says that he wants a woman to be submissive, learn how to capitulate to that. But complaining about the nature of this situation isn't going to change the nature of men. They're still going to want what they want. So at the end of the day, you have to either cooperate with it, or, as certain content creators in the manosphere say, get a dog and die alone. Now, I personally don't want you to get a dog and die alone. I want everybody to be happy, but we got to get off this complaining. Like, listen to what a man wants. If a man, if the black man who you want attention from say, I like a woman who's not overweight and out of shape. I like a woman who works out. I'm into physical fitness. I want my woman to be fit. Not necessarily that you gotta, be a 6-time Olympic gold medal winner or something like that, but you just can't let yourself go. You gotta maintain some modicum of physical fitness and be in shape. If that's what the man says that he wants, then try to provide that. Try to provide that. But we have to stop This incessant complaining has got to stop, especially when it comes to this interracial relationship stuff. You know, these incessant complaints with black men who date out. Maybe the reason why they're dating out is because they are finding themselves in situations in which there are more women who are non-black who are providing what it is that they seek without, and they don't do it begrudgingly. So if you just join the ranks of those women and just gave them what they wanted and stopped being so begrudging about it, then maybe your fortunes will reverse. Like, you got to give the market what it wants. You know, the market dictates what it wants. Listen to it and give the market what it wants. When the iPhone came out, AT&T recognized that the market made a decision. The market said, we don't want Blackberries anymore. We like iPhones. So what did AT&T do? AT&T stopped promoting the BlackBerry. The BlackBerry went to the back burner and they started promoting the iPhone because that was where the money was. How dumb would it have been of AT&T after the proliferation of the iPhone to continue to market the BlackBerry? That wouldn't have made any logical sense whatsoever. When the market speaks, you got to listen. You got to listen to it, and you got to give the market what it wants. Like, you got to give the market what it wants. If the market says we don't want Blackberries anymore, we want iPhones, give the market the iPhone. But the complaining isn't going to change the market's decision. The market will continue to dictate what it wants, whether you continue to complain about it or not. But you just got to give the market what it wants. You know, ladies, like my black women out there, like, you want these guys to stop choosing non-black women over you. Listen to the marketplace and give the market what it wants. And if you don't want to give the market what it wants, maybe that means that you don't really want a black man after all. Maybe what you really want is just to continue to complain about it. I don't know. That's a little food for thought. But stop trying to create these pocket universes in which, despite what the market dictates, you still get what you want. If the market says that it wants iPhones and I open up a phone repair shop and all I'm doing is repairing Blackberries, I'm going to go out of business. So, like, get with the times and just give the market what it wants. Stop trying to make demands in a marketplace that doesn't befit you. Give the market what it wants. You know, feed the supply. Like, feed the supply. One of the things that I've noticed fundamentally, and you know, I'm not a social scientist, I'm not a relationship expert. This is just me commenting based on my personal experiences and things that I've observed. One thing that I've noticed that's a difference between men and women in this regard is women want to exist in a utopian society in which they don't have to capitulate to what, for example, a man says that he wants. A man should just accept what she's willing to give him. And despite that being her mentality, women still believe as though they deserve the creme de la creme in terms of men that they desire, despite the fact that they don't want to actually curtail what it is that they are willing to provide in order to suit the desires of those men. Contrastly, what we as men have done is we have accepted it. Like, most men, not all, you have a lot of men out here who complain as well, but they aren't worth talking about. We are only talking about the men who have a self-confidence and respect for themselves to understand their place in this world and understand what it is that it takes in order for them to get what they want. So those men have made a choice, and they've made one of two choices. Men have said, okay, what women seem to find most desirable in men is a man with social prestige who has a sustainable modicum of money and resources. Those are the men who tend to be at the top of the food chain in terms of these are the guys that these women are checking for. So men have made a choice. Men have said, I am either going to work to get to the point where I am at that point where I have said money, resources, and social prestige so that I can attain the attention of the women that I desire, or I'm going to relent and accept the level that I'm at and just operate as best I can within that space. But what we don't really do as much as complain. Like, there isn't a ton of men out there who are saying, man, these women out here are just checking for these guys with money and resources, man. How terrible are they? They need to be checking for me. Like, no, we don't really do that. We say, okay, women like guys with money and resources and social prestige. I'm going to try and acquire money and resources and social prestige. I'm going to try to give the market what it wants. We either choose that we're going to do that, or we say, I'm operating at the $30,000 level, at the $40,000 level, and I accept that. So having accepted that, I am going to try to do the best that I can within that level, and I'll let the chips fall where they may, and I accept what comes with that, and you live with that decision. That's a fundamental difference that I've noticed here between men and women. And it's especially important within us as Black people that we understand these nuances. Like, Black men are telling you, Black women, what we want. It just seems as though you refuse to listen. And all you have to do is just give the market what it wants. Like, make a choice, ladies. Like, if y'all want these Black men that you want so bad to stop dating outside their race because you think that it's such a terrible thing for the society and the world at large, you need to make a choice. You're either going to start selling iPhones, or you can stick to your BlackBerry and just communicate with other people who decided that they didn't want to upgrade from the BlackBerry as well. Just, it is what it is. Either you're going to upgrade to the iPhone, or you're going to accept that you want to continue to use a BlackBerry and just continue to dial other people who themselves decided to stick it out with the BlackBerry. But you're going to have to give the market what it wants. The market always decides what it wants. And so you just have to either capitulate or get a dog and die alone. But I'm telling you, like, there's this fallacious narrative going on out here in which it's being posited that there's just this huge segment of Black men who have turned a blind eye to Black women and don't want Black women at all. That we actually prefer white women and Latino women, non-Black women in general, because we just think that they're just inherently superior to Black women. Like, this is not true, people. This isn't the furthest thing from the truth. Black men probably still want Black women more than any other type of woman. And that is the truth. And I know that for a fact. Those are facts. Okay, I hear from Black men all the time. Nobody is trying to turn away from Black women. The problem is Black women seem to increasingly want to have the desirable men that they want without being willing to give those men what it is that they are asking for. And those two things just don't fit. That's a square peg in a round hole. It doesn't make sense. Like, stop trying to create this pocket universe where you get to dictate what the market wants and make it so that it suits your needs. The market isn't designed to suit the individual. The market is designed to suit a mass of people. And if you want to satisfy said mass of people, you're going to have to provide that marketplace with that product. So just listen to Black men when they say what they want and do that. It's very simple. If a Black man wants a woman who's submissive, learn how to operate within that realm. Within the context of your relationship, I promise you, it's not going to be a threat to your feminist ideology. It's not going to be, it's not going to be a threat to your reasonable feminist ideology. To some of this more modern, extreme feminist ideology, it's probably going to destroy that. But it's not going to be a threat to your individuality. It's not going to be a threat to your reasonable feminist ideology. It's not going to be a threat to your womanhood. You're not being controlled, manipulated, manhandled because a man says that he prefers a woman who is more submissive in nature. You need to really understand what that actually means within the context of a functional relationship. It's just a defined role that would have to be occupied by your presence. And men have to accept defined roles within the relationship as well. Like, we all have to do it. It's just there just seems to be a disconnect because not all of us are willing to give the market what it wants. And until we are willing to accept that the market demands something and you have to be willing to provide it, then we're just going to continue to be lost. And we'll be continuing to comment on Robert Griffin III's, Instagram and Twitter feed about how horrible it is that he is caping for his white wife. You know what I'm saying? Like, RG3, bro, like, your wife looks good, man. Proud of you. Good job. Keep up the good work. That post was a little cringy and weird, but I just think that you just got to figure out how to do social media in a way that works best for you. But just to see the way people kind of immediately swarm to the comment section to comment on how much of a dereliction of duty on the part of Robert Griffin III it is that he is yet another one of these black men committing the atrocity of dating out was just interesting to see. Like this incessant complaining, man, we got to chill with that. Just listen to the men, ladies. Give the men what they want. Give these black men what they want, and I promise you, your fortunes will change. But if you're so hell bent on sticking to your ideology and you're just always constantly on the lookout for ways in which getting a man is a threat to your, individuality, then you ain't never gonna get nowhere. You might as well just keep complaining, I guess. Shit, I know I ain't gonna listen to you. But it is what it is. That's pretty much all I wanted to say with regards to that whole fiasco with Robert Griffin III. Man, he went viral off that for real, and I thought it was just hilarious. But just we all just listen to the men. Like, stop being combative, or just I don't even want to use words like argumentative. Like, that stuff is overblown. Like, it's just a situation in which all it takes is for you to kind of sit down and say, okay, what do you want? And don't take it as an affront to your personal space or your worldview, like you're sacrificing a piece of yourself. If you claim that you want these guys, you're gonna have to at some point give them what it is that they're asking for. It doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that you're any less of yourself, within reason, obviously. But there you go. But man, my motto is everybody should explore all their options. I've always believed that, and I'll continue to believe that. So, whatever race your partner happens to be, just be proud of that. So long as you made a good decision. And don't listen to people who want to complain about it, because trust me, it ain't gonna stop the complaining. Them people gonna keep swarming to them comment sections whenever you post them pics to bitch about it. They're gonna swarm on it the way flies swarm the shit. They're gonna keep doing what they do. But black men aren't there isn't just this huge gulf of black men who believe that black women ain't shit, or that that these other races of women are superior to them. They're just looking for they're looking for women who are willing to give them what it is that they seek. And if they just so happen to find that in women who are of a different race, then so be it. It is what it is. Like I said, black women, if you really hate it that much, listen to them and give them what they want. I promise you, your fortunes will change. I promise you, it'll get better. Scout's honor, it will get better. But that's enough rambling on this video, man. If you like the commentary on this video, be sure to subscribe to this channel if you're watching on YouTube. Hit the share button, hit the like button, comment. I really do appreciate it. If you're watching this video on Facebook, hit the share button, hit the like button. Also like the page. Also comment there as well. Tell me where I'm going crazy and all of that good stuff. I appreciate all of the interaction and the support. The full content library for anybody who might be browsing the web is consciousapproach.com. So definitely go to the website, because there's a huge backlog of video and written content on the website. That's kind of where this whole thing started. You can find me on Instagram at JVWins, JVWINS. You can also find me on Twitter, JVWins. You can find me on Facebook at Javis Ogden, JAVIS OGDEN. Be sure to also follow the Conscious Approach page on Instagram at Conapproach, CONAPPROACH. Always got to make sure I don't fumble that spelling. But yeah, that'll do it for the commentary in this video. We got bigger fish to fry, so we really need to stop complaining about all of this interracial relationship stuff. Like, if we want everybody to progress and climb up the socioeconomic ladder and do better and earn more and become financially free and successful, if we want our Black people to continue to strive for that level of excellence, what do you think is going to happen? Like, this is going to be a byproduct of that evolution. You're going to see more instances of this because when your socioeconomic situation changes, so do your dating options. So, um, but to all my ladies out there, my Black women, like the Black men are still checking for you, and the high value Black men are still checking for you, whether you care to realize it or acknowledge it or not. It's just going to come down to a matter of you making a decision as to whether you want to sell the iPhone or continue trying to sell the BlackBerry. I suggest that you try to learn how to start selling iPhones because ain't nobody using Blackberries no more. So until next time, until next time, please remember to support logical content. I appreciate everybody for supporting the channel, and I'll see you later. Peace.